Hey guys, it's me, Teresa Perrin. I tried to record tonight's space call for you guys live, and I am technically not savvy. And unfortunately, halfway through, not even halfway through, like into the first hour, I had to walk away from my computer because I had other engagements. So I had my phone with me, and it didn't record all of it. For some reason, I think my computer just, has like a 10 or 12 minute timer on it where it blacks out the screen because it seems to be that it kept happening when I was in front of it, able to watch it. But guys, I did get part of the call for you. So I know that a lot of you were blocked, as was I, but thankful for Erik. He started a Free Teresa campaign and I was able to listen to the call, which I actually enjoyed listening to. I'm not sure we got the information we were looking for, but I actually have to say, Erik handles, the BBIG family very well, but it is extremely embarrassing that he's seeing all of this arguing that's happening. So, on behalf of everybody, I'd like to say, can we please start acting like adults and knock it off? This is really embarrassing. For God's sakes, I am 44 years old. I do not need to be fighting with people like we're in high school. This is just crazy. I didn't do it then, and I certainly don't want to be doing it now. So, that being said, guys, I'm going to give you what I have. Hopefully you can hear it, because at first I started trying to record it up to the microphone on my phone, like putting my phone up to the microphone. And I have really bad carpal tunnel and I just couldn't keep holding it. And so I figured out how to get on Twitter and try to do it that way. But like I said, on the computer. So anyways, I got you some of it. So at least you can hear Erik's voice and see how he is as a person and the CEO of Zash. So I want to share with you what I have, because I know if you're blocked, you probably can't listen to the recording. So here's what I have for you guys. Hope it helps a little bit. Sorry I couldn't get it all. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already.
Fun and also to make money is I built a robotics company. We built a real life Dr. Octopus suit. That was fun. I was really into robotics, growing up. And that was kind of what I was into before Bitcoin, actually. And then we built that, for fun. And, indirectly, that's how I end up meeting Ted Farnsworth. Was I had launched a satellite a few years ago, and a friend of a friend of a friend, basically, kind of was able to, that helped me with that, introduced me to Ted. And we ended up getting along. But anyways, before I get into that, and I will get into that later, it's we launched a satellite. We had a time capsule on it. We had collaborators like Taylor Swift who contributed to the time capsule, politicians, senators, and everything. And they were at, I think they were doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in literally nothing, maybe about $1 million actually in monthly volume. And they were kind of like a crypto exchange meant to be easy and dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. And, after I got in there, they were doing, I think on their website they have, I don't know if they still have a live counter like they used to, but they had, tens upon tens of millions. They were literally at hundreds of thousands of dollars to, almost I think 100 million in volume, in volume, and money flowing through that pipes. And what they were doing. So I'm very proud of what we did there. MetalPay was another company I was involved in, invested in, and we did so well there. We had we had coins that got up to multi-$100 million, I think still there, multi-$100 million market caps. And I won't. We had an incredible team. So an incredible team, and I brought a lot of people into that company that I really liked, and I have a dream team of who I tend to bring on to, a company when I join, and make it a success. And we did that there, and that was incredible. I mean, we did, increase their user base. They were an app, so we increased their user base up the yin yang. I don't remember all the numbers in my head, but it was crazy. We put in, literally, market caps between all these coins were, that we helped. And again, we had a great team. So I'm not going to say this was, you stand on the shoulders of giants. And that became multi-$100 million, market cap cryptocurrencies. So this is just a little bit about my past. I want to talk more about the future here, and what I want to do here. But I just want to get, this is going to be a longer form call. So, I want to go a little bit into my past and my background and just so you get a sense of who I am on that front. So, yeah, so that's me. That's Erik Finman. That is the new CEO of Zash. And again, I want to touch back on, kind of go back to what I said on being a wartime CEO. Again, I have, being on the space is great. Engaging with the community. I've got a lot of feedback that's great. But, although I appreciate the compliments, what really matters to me is execution. Building. That is so important to me. And really it's great to talk, but substance is what matters. And that's what I've learned over years of experience running companies and being an entrepreneur is substance. And especially, when you have, different certain market dynamics that change and shake off certain people, that's who you're able to differentiate the winners and the losers and the people that have substance and don't. So that is one of my objectives, and I just want to go into kind of the morals of what I'm talking about here. So I don't know if people want to hear me keep talking. I'm happy to take questions.
Do your thing. Okay. Do your thing, and then we can just do the questions after. We definitely want to hear you, and you're speaking to the community, which is the most important. So we can definitely do the questions after. Do your thing, man.
Cool. Sounds good. So, yeah, so again, as that wartime CEO mindset that I have going into this, and what I'm telling you I have going into this is you're going to be seeing in not too long at all, a lot of stuff, a lot of executing stuff getting done and being told, and a coherent story actually being told about this company. I think that is so important. And that's what I want to show you guys. I feel like, this is my goal is just to earn trust within the retail community, as of now, and the meme community, because I'm in basically my whole life, I've a retail investor and have been interested in I got into AMC, I got into GME, and I'm on Zash side of things. But to be very clear, I'm the Zash CEO, so that's what I'm here to talk about. But I just wanted to hop in here and kind of tell you guys that this is I'm kind of taking stock of everything. And I've already been on the phones with the heads of all the amazing leaders of the current assets that we have, and we're formulating something that I think I'm going to be really proud of. I think that's important. I feel like this is D-Day, baby. This is D-Day. We're going in and we're marching forward, and we're going to be a well executed mean machine. That is my plan. And there's some parts of it that are already like that, but it's just moving it all into place where it all works together in unison. I think that is really important, and that is really good. That is one of the most most important things to do. And I'm so excited. And again, with I just want to repeat over and over again, with the assets that we have, these are unfucking believable assets. Unfucking believable assets. I mean, between all of the companies that are kind of even in the orbit, you got AdRiser, you got all this stuff. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Truly, just like I remember when Ted was explaining to me all that this company is doing. I mean, it is unbelievable, and I was like, I have to join. I gotta join, and I think Ted felt the same way. And again, I said this in one of my tweets. I think Ted is an absolute visionary. He is someone that I have grown to have a lot of respect for, and I want to be able to. I've been on the phone with him every day, and I think I just have nothing but respect for him. I think he's an incredible man, and I think us hand in hand together are going to be able to achieve something that, something that you'll be very happy with, and something that, has never been seen before, because of the assets that we have. And it's just about moving things right into the right place so the gears start moving. So anyways, that's kind of just my general overview of everything. I feel like there's so much I want to say, but I don't want to just ramble and give kind of a speech here. I'm happy to take questions now. I'm happy to talk more. I'm going to be here for a while. So, ask me questions. I kind of have a general idea, give or take, of what some of these questions are. So I feel like we'll leave it open to the floor.
I'll go right into it. The questions that I know matter. You can either answer them or not. Are we in a merger quiet period?
I would say that, that this is being worked on, as you guys know. And I said this in another space, but I see this as a personal legacy of mine, to get that done. I really do. I see that as a personal legacy of mine to get that done. I don't know what, people's expectations were, on this call. If this is an overview call, and to be able to get questions and answer them to the best of my ability. But on my side of things, on the Zash side of things, I see it as my personal legacy to make that happen. And I see how important that is. If you've gotten if you should look up at Erik Finman, because this is the amount of tweets I've gotten about that are huge.
Yes, that's the biggest thing in the community. There's other things.
I was on the phone with Ted about it today. I was like, I'm going to get asked that. And
yes.
And I think that's something we all want to see happen.
Right. I just want to be fair with the community. Like I said, and I messaged you, you can either answer him or don't, you know what I mean? I'm just glad that you're being upfront and telling us.
I'm being upfront that this is like, I was aware of this before I joined on. Like, this was
right.
My, personally the expectation, and that's it, period.
So on July 7th, Zash put out a tweet that states, "We hear you loud and clear. Zash has recently engaged an investigative law firm to investigate dark pool activity with certain market makers in BBIG and Tide. Can you tell us what has been uncovered, or does Zash believe there is something going on?" I could have phrased it differently, but I'm trying to take the community's, questions. Is there any way you can elaborate about the investigation that Zash put the tweet out on July 7th about?
I think when the investigation is complete, I feel like that's something I feel like then we can, talk about. But I feel like my understanding is that, there's an investigation going on. So I don't feel like I can comment at that till, an investigation has reached a conclusion.
Okay. Another question would be, how is Lomotif positioned in case TikTok is banned? And what measures are you securing now to strengthen our global presence when it comes to Lomotif?
So I live in DC, folks. I live in DC. This is, TikTok is going to get banned. That is what everyone's in DC. That's just the rumor mill, So that obviously isn't live. But that's what I'm saying. As someone who's a resident of Washington, D.C., that is what I hear. And that is, where I see a big contribution of mine to Lomotif is to get Lomotif in a place ready and waiting. I think that's one of the coolest apps, now headquartered, in America, company. I think that is so important. And I think it's good for, the country. And I don't know if people care about those virtues necessarily. This is a kind of somewhat of a call of people being interested in kind of the workings of the company. But I see that as just morally, important to do and have Lomotif be ready and waiting. So that is one of my chief priorities, is my contribution to Lomotif is to make sure that Lomotif is ready and waiting for when TikTok is banned. And I also said this on another space call, which is that, even, to put it on track in a place to even surpass TikTok, anyways, because that's what you want, right? I mean, you want it to have that momentum anyways and go beyond it. and then have it be banned, because that's a double whammy. I think Lomotif is one of the coolest apps, one of the coolest assets one can have. I mean, it is unbelievable. And I'm also someone that is someone who uses a lot of these apps. Someone that has I have a secure phone and an unsecure phone, and I use TikTok on the unsecure phone, and I have Lomotif on the unsecure phone. I have all the competition on that, and I feel like I've researched this. I feel like I've been a fan of these types of apps. I remember when TikTok was called Musical.ly, and I was on there interested in looking at things. So I feel like I have a good history and able to contribute a lot, to be able to do this. So again, I think it's been less than a week, on this, but in a week where we've been getting a lot done, on the internal side of things. So, I think Lomotif has an incredible chance to, especially, onboard a lot of amazing influencers. We've already had a lot of influencers, talk about it. And I just think there's so much more we could do there. I just feel like it's been just a drop in the bucket relatively on what can be done with Lomotif.
Lomotif's strength to me comes from Adorizer. So if Zash owns Lomotif and Vinco has Adorizer, how is Zash planning to monetize Lomotif so we can really grow Lomotif huge in other parts of the world? We need Adorizer, right?
I think Adorizer is an amazing asset, and it seems like it's a no-brainer to me.
My question, I guess, basically is we're pushing for the merger. You can tell it with our sentiment in the community, and we're going to ask a lot of questions that are going to be reverted around that. You know what I mean? I'm just curious because I know it's a big driving force with Lomotif is Adorizer. So the quicker we can get the merger, the quicker we can start monetizing Lomotif and get the show going.
Mr. Rick, I'm on the same page with you. I'm on the same page with the community, objectively. Yep. Again, this was the expectation for me, on the Zash side of things, to be able to do this, because I mean the assets, especially that all together, all of this, it's incredible. And to me, it's a no-brainer, and it is, again, I'll repeat again. I see it as a personal legacy of mine to be able to get that done.
Well, let's fucking go, man. I love that, bro.
I want to step in here. Done fucking quickly.
Hey, I want to step in here, Eric.
As soon as possible.
Agree. I really appreciate you coming on the call and give us your time. As you probably know, surfing along the Twitter community and the hashtags, and I'm sure most of the community is pretty frustrated at this point. So as Rick was kind of alluding to, I do kind of want to kind of go back to the merger subject and talk about some of the things you mentioned. Some of the things you said. You said you've talked to the leaders of our assets. Have you spoken with Ken Bond?
Not everyone yet, but he's on the list.
Have you talked to Paul Yang?
Paul Yang? I think I'm scheduled with him.
Okay. Well,
I have to look at my calendar, man. I'm not going to go into every name I've spoken with or plan to speak to.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just shooting the shit. The merger was first announced, in a filing last year. It's been a long time. Ted put out a video, I think a week or so ago, talking about, Zash is really pushing for the merger. We've kind of gotten this sentiment that Zash is really pushing for the merger. And I'm sure from scanning the Twitter sphere that much of retail shareholders' frustration has been with silence on the Vinco Ventures side. So my question to you, can you comment on why you think the merger has been taking so long? Or even more specifically, why we haven't received any updates? I know you're new to Zash and you're coming in as a fresh CEO, and I totally, get that you're not going to have all the answers or can even speak on all these subjects. But is there anything you can comment on that could kind of explain or elaborate on maybe why the merger's taken so long, or why we haven't gotten any kind of updates basically in a year?
I think I think it's unfair that you guys haven't gotten updates in a year, and that's my goal. I'll be able to hop on these Twitter spaces. Again, I am the Zash CEO, my friends. I am not the Vinco CEO. I am the Zash CEO, and I can only speak to, what I'm doing on the Zash side of things, right? But I think that you're not, like, to me, I've been telling everybody, I'm like, dude, we got to talk to people. And not just talk, execute, but also talking is good too. Talking in the sense of communicating with people, right, and having transparency. So I cannot speak to the BBIG side of things. I wish I could, guys.
Yeah,
I wish I could.
And I'm not in any way, shape, or form laying this responsibility at your feet. I know you just came in, but a lot of these questions I'm asking and going to ask is partly maybe to see if you can give us any kind of information or feedback, but additionally, also to get the point across of what's important to us, and perhaps moving forward in the future, you can understand kind of where we're coming from, what we're looking for, and what we're hoping for that is different from what we're currently getting in the future moving forward. You better understand kind of what we're hoping to get.
Let me ask you: has anyone has anyone been doing Twitter Spaces with you guys? Has anyone been doing any of that stuff with you?
Negative, no. Not one person.
Absolutely no.
Well, you're the first person.
That's what I'm trying to fix. I'm here.
We appreciate that.
Exactly. So I'm here to answer any of the questions that I can to the best of my ability. And then also, I'm going to be sharing, obviously just company announcements and products and updates in the future. Maybe not necessarily on this kind of 3 days in, I think, on this front, but that is my point is to share, announce with the community, also get the, let the community like be a part of these decisions, right? As they should have been, right? Like that. Like I live on Twitter. Twitter's my life. I love it. I think I've had an account since 2010. And then I'm also a big Redditor as well. So I read the Reddit BBIG subreddit. So pretty much virtually anything that you post on there, I will see, and so it is my goal to expedite everything that is in motion. That is my goal, is to expedite and obviously execute well. You can't just you just can't move quickly and throw caution to the wind. But that is my goal, is to expedite these things.
Absolutely. Have you been involved in the conversations about merger at all?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, define conversations, I guess, but yes, I've been involved in many conversations about that.
Very nice. Well, yeah, that's great. Hopefully we can get some updates or something about it soon. That's been one of the bigger kind of catalysts or kind of things we've been hanging our hat on for the past year. So, anything on that would be well appreciated. So you understand, the retail sentiment kind of in the stock is not really that great right now. Do you feel that you understand kind of the value in retail investors, retail shareholders in the company? Do you think it's more advantageous to have institutional investors or retail investors, a mix of both? Do you see the value in retail investors?
I mean that's on the BBIG side of things, but at the same time, I'm a retail investor. We saw what retail investors did, during the AMC, during the GME, all of this stuff, right, time period, right? That's as altogether, they're more collectively more powerful than institutional investors, right? So that is to me the most important, group, especially in this world, objectively.
Right. We know that Zash, Zash essentially, we assume Zash controls the ownership of Lomotif, and BBIG essentially controls the ownership of AdRiser. As we see, AdRiser's on BBIG's or Vinco Ventures earnings reports, and Lomotif is not. Obviously, both companies were acquired with the intention of utilizing both of them together. Can you talk about how important that is for both companies moving forward? Obviously, AdRiser monetizing Lomotif. Can you talk about how important this merger is and how important it is to have those two assets working together?
I mean, the combination of these businesses, I mean, are like together can be completely, unparalleled, in the game. That's, I mean, like they're a perfect marriage. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want me to get into a ton of detail there, but I just think that between these two, I mean, it's an objectively excellent business combination.
There's been some speculation. Retail's talked about, speculating, combining Lomotif and AdRiser. Well, that's not part of the speculation. That's a given. But there's speculation about some of the other investments Vinco Ventures has, specifically in hyperreal and immersive. Are those some of the assets that you intend to incorporate into what did you call it? You called it the Sphere. Is that what you called it earlier?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? Cut out there. Apologies.
Yes. Obviously Lomotif and AdRiser are like a well-married two assets, well married together, but BBIG's asset investments into hyperreal and immersive. Do you see those playing a role?
Yeah, I totally see those playing a role.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that?
I think Hyperreal is an incredible company. Like, I think you guys are talking about when are these businesses, going to combine, and I don't have a date for you, but this is part of the task of what I've been called to do, is to make this happen. And, and I feel like a lot of these questions are like, will it happen? When will it happen? And it's just like, I can't give you a date. But I'm here to tell you this is what I'm working on. So like when you have these assets of Vinco and these assets of Zash, and obviously there's stuff in between of that, like the goal is to have a business combination of all of these things. I mean that's what I'm here to do. So I mean, yeah, we're like, and this is what I said at the beginning of the call is to tell a coherent story. One on the Zash side of things, to about those assets, but then after this is done, tell a coherent story, and not just a story, but a coherent products that all work and interwork together. I mean, then obviously that is of course the plan, and that's what I'm here to do. So I don't know. I maybe I'm misunderstanding, kind of the intent of your question, but that I feel like that's very clear to me, and maybe it just hasn't been clear to the community, and I feel like me saying it, I don't know, maybe feels weird, but this is happening, and I can't talk dates, I can't talk internal knowledge, but this is the plan.
Yeah, I'm just asking, about the different assets. Wanted to see what you think about it all. Kind of get a feel for where you're at. We've kind of been just deep diving into all of these different companies that have kind of been in this sphere of Zash and Vinco Ventures over the past year. We probably know most of these companies in and out, maybe in some sense more than the employees themselves. we haven't had a whole lot to do other than just digging into these companies. So, I get you're just coming in, and I'm just kind of gauging where we're at, and I want to see I'm trying to hit on some of these things that a lot of these immersive and hyperreal are very exciting to us, and sometimes we'll get on
exciting.
And sometimes we just get on these space calls and we'll just start talking on and on about all the possibilities. And we get really excited.
And that's what I'm trying to do here on at least the CO Zach. I mean, this.
And get it humming.
Absolutely. I mean, how could you not? Right? Like, I mean, it's. I have a list. I have like a plan. I use Trello. I don't know if anyone uses Trello here. I mean, I literally have a Trello board of all the things I want to do, all the things I want to move around and build upon, and create. I mean, that's I have a very I have a very in-depth plan of all the things I want to do internally to move things along and change them. And you'll see the results of that. I don't know what the expectations of this call are, if people are expecting 20 announcements. But the expectations of this call for me is to say, dude, this is Rome wasn't built in a day, and maybe you guys have been around for building Rome over a very long time.
Yeah.
But to me, it's 3 days, and I think we can accomplish so much in less than 3 months. I totally do. But ultimately, it sounds like, from my understanding, I've been waiting a year, and that's not right. And that's why I'm here to do the space call, is to give people updates. I'm all about like building the public, and one of the things that I see so lacking and so deserving is this company needs some great PR, some great press, and it's deserving given all the stuff that Zash has. I mean, it's in the whole sphere of the adjacent properties and everything. I mean, this is such an easy win for good PR. And that's one of the big things. It's execution, and then bragging immensely about that execution.
Yeah, I agree. We, it's been tough for the community. It's been tough for us. We've been, like you said, we've been in this for a year. We've been told, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We've seen it. Honestly, we've seen a lot of this stuff being executed slowly. There's been delays. There's been deadlines, promised and then forgotten and things like that. So a lot of the, the frustration in that, I guess the call was to actually try to get you to come on and accidentally let some information slip.
Yeah,
to kind of give somebody a, but it's been a long road for everybody. And to be quite frank, in some instances we've had good PRs, and hasn't really reflected much. I know in the stock price, and I know that's not really your area. That's BBIG until the merger happens. But a lot of it is, we've been basically discounted a long time. We've been discounted. A lot of people said, and I'm specifically talking about, Finco Ventures, so you don't really have to comment or anything like that, but we've been discounted for a long time. A lot of people said AdRiser was never going to happen. We put out a letter of intent. People said it wasn't going to happen. And we finally did it, and it was completed. We acquired them. And
Ken's great. Ken's great.
Yeah, he's
but
a
again,
superstar.
he's on the BBIG side of things.
Right. And
again, that's most of the people on this call, but I am on the Zach side of things, to be clear.
Right. and then the things happen. Well, I'm just kind of giving you a picture of how everybody's kind of been let down, and then the Cryptide, Cryptide was spun off. Everyone said Cryptide wasn't going to happen, kept getting delayed, pushed back, and then it finally happened. And now the merger is kind of the one of the things on the list. Everyone's saying, oh, the merger's not going to happen, or people are making other speculations, and we're sitting here like, what's going to happen? When is it going to happen? So everybody's kind of, I'm not saying this to try to get anything out of you. I'm just saying a lot of people are kind of hanging on a thread, kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. And, I'm sure you've seen from the Twitter, everyone's very wound up. Everybody is kind of taking a beating right now. So, again, I appreciate you, coming on here and talking to us. The intent of the call was honestly just to gauge where we're at, gauge where you're at, where your head's at, what you're looking to do. We kind of wanted to communicate our sentiments, how we feel. Again, we're feeling pretty beat up. As you can see, the community's in turmoil, fighting with each other, blaming each other, and trying to find a villain and trying to find someone to give us some answers. But I appreciate you coming on the call. And
do we want to take some people that want to request to speak?
We could certainly do that.
Well, I was gonna ask Erik just a couple of questions myself.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you for coming on, Erik. I just wanted to first question. So I am receiving some notification messages from other people. I know there are people who want to speak, but one of the questions that they're asking is about a fairness opinion. I don't know if this is something that you can talk about or anything like that. People have been asking if there will be some sort of a fairness opinion, as we received a third party last year when the merger, and if the merger happens, we don't know. Obviously, you cannot tell us, but if it does go through, will there be some sort of a new valuation between Advisor, Lomotif, Zash, Vinco, etc.?
Yeah, I've seen that on people requesting, like, when a fairness opinion or evaluation, right? Just normal one, and everything. So I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I have sent that to the team, over there, those requests. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea, and that's something I want to do.
Okay, excellent. My next question is, I know, and I know that you can't talk about the Vinco side, but is it possible you can tell me how do you feel about the relationship currently between Zash and Vinco? Because we don't obviously hear a lot about from Vinco, and we hear a lot from Zash, but maybe your personal perspective between the relationship between Zash and Vinco.
I think they have a good relationship. I mean, like, when I don't think it would be too much effort. Maybe we should. What do you guys want to hear from the Vinco side? That I can at least request. That would give you guys more confidence that it's a good relationship, because it is. It is a good relationship.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that we hear a lot from Zash, but it's and I said this on the previous Space Call, I think a few days ago before you left off the call, and I told you this too, is that I sometimes think that management from the beginning, I didn't think they expected such a huge community behind Vinco Ventures and Zash itself. So now they're sitting here saying, wow, I can't believe, like, look at all these people, this community is freaking huge. And it's like, as if we're putting out a lot of the PRs and everything that you guys are doing and breaking down these filings and doing it the best that we can. It's almost as if we're doing free promotion for you guys. And we have 70,000 StockTwits followers alone, and probably still growing. And that's just StockTwits. And we're not talking Reddit even yet. And we're not even talking about Twitter itself. So we have such a power behind this community, and this is why I've been urging Vinco and Zash to understand that the community is such a huge weapon for you guys. Huge weapon.
I agree.
And you were in GME.
Yes. Oh, I know the weapon, that it can be. But yeah, I mean that's why I'm here. I feel like I'm just trying to communicate, and maybe it's just because there's been such a long gap in communication for so long. It's kind of like there's so much, like I want to be able to, I want to do these all the time, like that's kind of the point of these, and build in the public, and as much as you can, and have the, like you say, be the weapon, help out and contribute, and be more involved. I mean, my goal is communication, communication, communication. I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys don't want me, communicating until, you just want, an announcement and all that. I want both. I want I want to be able to do communication, 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 and then come out with announcement on progress, to show everybody, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here. And to me, it's ludicrous if like I'm not going to wait a year to talk with you guys again, right?
No, yeah.
I'm gonna talk with you all the time. Maybe you'll be a little bit annoyed at me by the end of it.
Never.
But I wanna communicate with you, let you know where I'm at, let you know where Zash is at, and then and let you know, when we have an announcement, and kind of product development and everything, telling